Dave Chappelle is a Karen. Huh. Ahoy hoy YouTube, it is your girl T, aka Nappy Headed Jojoba. Not nappy, not jojoba. Nappy Headed Jojoba, you have to say the whole thing. It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Your girl has been busy working, and even now, as you can see, I'm getting ready. I'm doing a movie night with my patrons later. I'm hoping to film another video after this, time permitting. But we have really a lot of things to get to in today's Lukewarm Tea. Enough things that I may even just split this into 2 videos because I'd rather leave the feature length YouTube videos to ContraPoints. That is not my ministry. And this is also my first public YouTube video of 2022. So let's just get on with this and not waste any more time. Sitting up here with old lash glue stuck in my natural lashes, a mess. All right, so I know that the folks caping for Karen Chappelle are trying to say that there's a lot of nuance to this situation in Ohio. But the guy has been showing his ass for quite some time. At what point did people get the idea that his politics were set up for him to be anything but a NIMBY? Let me back up. In case you hadn't heard, there was some sort of literally village council meeting down in Yellow Springs, Ohio, where Dave Chappelle lives. He's been based there for quite some time now. My mind holds on to a lot of useless information. And I remember reading an article in, I want to say Blender magazine back in it would have to be about 2004. I don't even know if Blender is a magazine, let alone if it still exists. But this is what my lizard brain is telling me. And at the time, Chappelle and the then current success that was Chappelle Show was the cover story of this magazine. And this was after the Rick James sketch. So he was really just peak zeitgeist for that moment. That magazine cover image is low-key seared into my brain, which is the only reason I feel like the magazine was indeed called Blender, because I can still picture the cover photo and design fairly vividly. Like he had on a red and white beanie with a blue background behind him. In retrospect, there were very obvious hints in that interview that Chappelle had already had one foot out the door with Comedy Central. And I remember the article talking about him buying this soybean farm in Ohio, and he said something to the effect of buying that land in case things don't work out with this, referring to his overall deal with Comedy Central, or perhaps just Hollywood full stop. So even then, he was already hinting at what we now know followed. Cut to some 18 years later, and here we are with Chappelle, still based in this Yellow Springs village or whatever in Ohio, with plans to build a comedy club of his own in town. That is, unless the city allows another development plan to go through, which was going to include affordable housing. Chappelle said that the council looked like clowns for letting this happen, and he threatened to pull his investment, which will amount to several millions of dollars. 65 M's, or somewhere in the neighborhood, if I understand his threat and the articles that I read correctly. And that's not easy to do, to be honest, because he honestly wasn't very clear in what he was saying in the clip from the village council meeting that has been circulating. At least the coding and insinuations of his language were not 100% clear to me as an outsider, completely unfamiliar with the situation prior to. What is clear is that Chappelle did what white people do, which is weaponize his money. Y'all, I don't know why my foundation is looking like I don't know how to match my shade on this monitor right now, but it does not look crazy in real life. I've been wearing this foundation regularly, and it's actually one of the best matches I've had ever. But it don't look like that right now, do it? Yeah, I look a little loony right now. We'll fix this with bronzer. Come to think of it, I did have some outdoor shoots last week, so I might just have tanned a bit while I was at work. Maybe that's what's going on. Don't worry, I see it too, y'all. I see it too. We gonna fix it. Anyway, back to Chappelle. Arguments are being made that the correlation between his threats to divest based on his NIMBYism vis-a-vis this affordable housing initiative. His defenders are saying that it's more complicated than this. And maybe it is. But simply saying it's complicated and there's a lot of moving parts, that's an easy way to deflect without actually defending, let alone clarifying what your position actually is. More to the point, the idea that Chappelle doesn't want those types who need affordable housing to be in his area tracks. Chappelle moved as far out of the hood as one can possibly do, and if I remember correctly, he wasn't from the hood in the first place. I know he is from DC, but I'm pretty sure both of his parents were, employed, more middle class, upper middle class type of tees. And now he's been living in an affluent white fucking village in Ohio for damn near 2 decades, raising his biracial children. Of course he's going to buck when he perceives a threat to his property values. I repeat, I am not certain that I am understanding this situation correctly, let alone the nuance that comes with owning land. What I will say is that if I am understanding semi-correctly, I am zero surprised. Even outside of this affordable housing thing, it has been clear for some time that Chappelle, like many other rich black people, is very committed to pursuing and ultimately achieving whiteness. Whiteness is a code and a suite of privileges given to people of no color for no reason other than white skin. Access to this suite of privileges is 100% unearned. Yet this does not stop the Chappelles and Jay-Z's of the world from trying to earn it. And I get it, to a point. I still say that the only reason I ever want money at all is to be free. So on some level, I do understand the pursuit of wealth. But I am also a big believer that money doesn't change who you are, it reveals it. There have always been these Negroes who aspire to achieving whiteness, who think they can earn their way into whiteness monetarily. They are deranged, and if this situation is being reported accurately, with Chappelle vetoing affordable housing on some NIMBY shit by threatening to close his purse, then may this also serve as a reminder that this is another battle in the centuries-long class war. Class is inextricably tied to race, and the myth that is white supremacy. So we always have to look at it that way and organize and strategize accordingly. This is literally why whiteness was invented, and it has been extremely effective at preventing us from forging meaningful solidarity. But once you get to the root, the war is class war. Always has been. I won't say a whole lot about this because I already did an entire video on this for my Ride or Dies a few days ago, but Bogan isn't going anywhere. On the other hand, you can. For me, myself, personally, I don't think tweeting at Spotify about how Hope Hogan needs to be deplatformed because he said this.
What are you?
Dad's black, mom's white. Standard issue, pretty much.
Powerful combination genetic-wise, right? You get the body of the black man, and then you get the mind of the white man all together in some strange combination. That doesn't, by the way, mean that black people don't have brains. It's a different brain.
Or this.
And the guy goes, okay. Goes, that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out, and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door, and there was no white people.
Or because he said the word that starts with N, many, several, really a lot of times, which I will not play because I will be deplatformed before Ho Hogan is. That word, by the way, which he said in clips that look pretty doggone recent. So it's not exactly like Slogan can claim that he was young and didn't know better, like a lot of these idiots try to do once they get put on blast. In some of these clips, it's like, bro, this is from like 2 weeks ago. Also, too, as well, he decided to pull down some 100 plus episodes of the Hulk Hogan Experience from Spotify after all of this broke. Which one looks guilty as hell? Like, what did the internet sleuths miss before these 100 plus Hogcast episodes were removed? But two, and this is more important, most of these episode clips in question are indeed old, which means they predate him ever being on Hogify, which also means that these clips and these episodes predate them giving this man a $100 million deal or whatever after it was well established that this is who he is. Why on earth would they deplatform him now and burn their investment? Even after this most recent shit hit the fan, here's a glimpse at just how well some random ass, not particularly click-worthy clips of his show were performing after being uploaded to YouTube. I mean, that's just within a day or so. The meathead is doing fine. Jogan will carry on giving whack-ass so-called apologies whenever he feels like he has to, and he'll continue holding up his friend Chappelle and whatever black comedians he has standing by as human shields to prove that he, quote-unquote, isn't a racist. Never mind that people are dead-ass still out here in 2022 using the I have black friends defense. Yikes. Then again, it was the dipshit bootlicking fraud that is Andrew Yang who actually posited that he has black friends defense on Hogan's behalf, almost verbatim. Is it peculiar to anyone else that Krogan thinks he's counterculture? He's as basic and mainstream as it gets, if you ask me. Anything nice I have to say about the Hulk Hogan experience is a credit to his talent booking, not to him. I'm by no means a fan or a regular, but I have checked out a few episodes because I was interested in the guest. But lest we forget, he also repeatedly has had on Alex Jones, so there goes your credibility. Point is, you can't cancel Bro Bogan, but you can cancel your Spotify, and there are plenty of reasons to do so. They're infamous for paying some of the worst streaming royalties to the very artists who make the platform possible, and the founder and CEO then takes that coin that he steals from Jasmine Sullivan and Anderson .Paak and everyone else, and uses it to invest in military AI. Like, it's an easy choice. I got rid of Spotify last year and never looked back. Again, us regular folks do not have the clout to enforce canceling these multimillionaires and billionaires. Canceling is and always has been about your personal code. People always act like it's impossible for them to stop using Hogify or shopping at Amazon or Walmart because it's just a drop in the ocean in terms of what effect it'll have. Well, the ocean is made of drops. And if you look at it that way, where we're all the drops, it's a lot more empowering. Y'all, I am nearly done getting ready. I'm nearly done with this beat. I'm just gonna finish cheeks here. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna straight up pull a King of Reeds and just split this into 2 videos because I've already had to re-roll on my camera, I think thrice. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish this beat, and then talk about all the other things I wanna talk about in another video, and just put them up ideally together, but we go see. I edit my own stuff, so it depends. I still have a job, so I'm always trying to juggle the YouTube stuff with my real life. But all that's left here are my finishing touches, so I'm gonna do those while we transition to the awkward slow-mos. Y'all get the idea. It's a pretty basic beat. It's like one color on the eyes, my usual drag queen lashes, and a lip, which is Lolita, but not the old Lolita. It's like a vinyl version. Everything's linked in the deep box, y'all know. But yeah, I am definitely going to be copying King of Reeds. Time will tell if I actually put these up together on YouTube like Justin does. That scares me. It works really well for him, but that don't mean it gonna work for me, child. I've been talking enough. Pray for me with this double upload experimentation, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to link the other video here. It may be unlisted, it may be live depending on when you watch this, who knows. And up here, if you've been curious about the kind of stuff that I do on Patreon, I'm gonna link my 2021 makeup favorites here so you can check it out. Consider it a free sample if you've ever wanted to see what one of my Patreon videos look like, because that is my primary platform. I do several videos a month over on Patreon, whereas here, y'all ain't seen me since last year. Anyway, in the meantime, in between time, and until I see y'all next time, stay safe, stay dangerous, and never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Bye.
That's some nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.